My name is J. Randall Wilkerson, author of the Heart Failure Recovery Plan, Successful Heart Regeneration Using Metabolic Enzymes. This is part 5 of a 58-part short video series of the entire book. We're going to cover chapter 3, which is a very brief chart of all the supplements recommended in the book. These charts are organized in the order of body weight. So when you first look at the first page of chapter 3, you will see that it covers adults from 170 to 250 pounds weight range. The second chart is 120 to 170 pounds. The third chart is 80 to 120 pounds weight range. And then page 4 is clinical study reports. We'll get into that in just a minute. Essentially, it is recommended to read the book, chapter 5, on these enzymes and supplements in order to understand their importance and the effect on heart failure recovery. Briefly, there are required medical tests by your doctor necessary to make certain that the dosages recommended will be managed by your kidneys. So therefore, your kidney function must be normal. Your renal function must be normal, and you need to check medication for any interactions from these enzymes. The list in the supplement chart is based upon order of priority or effect upon the body. So the first supplement is actually the most simple in terms of what it is. That is magnesium, a simple mineral, a macro mineral. What is recommended are taking magnesium taurate and magnesium malate. These are specific forms of magnesium that treat two different parts of the heart failure condition. Magnesium taurate regulates heartbeat regularity to eliminate most cardiac arrhythmias, which damage the heart and can lead to sudden death. The recommendation is to take one for each meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and one in the evening just before bedtime. Magnesium malate, on the other hand, is a type using malic acid that works as a carrier to penetrate into the cells, enabling better regulation as well. One for each meal plus evening. Followed by that, number 3 is potassium orotate. Now, it is recommended that you get your potassium through food, not supplements, but if you're unable to drink raw juices of vegetables and cook enough vegetables to enable a proper potassium ratio, then potassium orotate is the most effective. It lists 99 milligrams per meal, which is essentially one tablet of a typical concentration. The fourth item on the list is CoQ10. This is an enzyme prescribed by doctors for treating heart failure in Japan. In Japan, it is a Class D pharmaceutical drug that requires a prescription. In the United States, CoQ10 is available from health food stores and online from vitamin suppliers. It is the most important enzyme for overcoming heart failure because it provides the energy to boost heart output rather dramatically. The issue with taking CoQ10 is one of quantity. Most people do not take enough. And the only way to know how much your body needs is to gradually work your volume or quantity up until you can feel a dramatic improvement in your strength and health. So the supplement plans included in this book involve a 4-week process of effectively bringing the dosage up under the 250-pound weight range. The first week is 100 milligrams 3 times a day. The second week is 200 3 times a day. The third week is 300 3 times a day. And the fourth week is 200 milligrams 3 times a day. Now, at that point, when you back off from 300 to 200 milligrams each meal, weigh your relative feeling at the end of week 4 as to whether you feel weaker or the same. If you feel weaker after dropping back from 300 to 200 milligrams, then you know you need 300 milligrams because your body state, your condition will tell you how much you need. Now, the majority of people taking CoQ10 will take 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams once a day. It used to be a very costly enzyme, costing as much as $7,000 a bottle. So there is a tendency for people to take a minimum amount. However, this enzyme is absolutely critical. The recommendation is to use the hydrosoluble version, which is trademarked Qsorb or Adsorb. Essentially, this hydrosoluble version has been processed to absorb readily in the liquids of your stomach. Normal CoQ10 is a powder that is fat soluble only with fats in your food. So it is absorbed at a much lower rate. The Qsorb version, you only need 1/3 to 1/2 as much to get the same effective blood level. The next enzyme on the list is L-carnitine fumarate. This is the type of carnitine that assists in heart regeneration and also the heart energy ATP. The next on the list is L-arginine, then L-taurine, then L-lysine. These are all amino acids that have been proven clinically to dramatically improve heart failure recovery. Then D-ribose is a heart sugar. It will significantly increase your energy levels for those with advanced heart failure at class 3 and 4. For those who are recovering at class 1 or 2, where it may not be apparently needed because they are not feeling the weakness in energy levels. Followed by that is choline, which is a nutrient that enables heart muscle cell regeneration. This nutrient is deficient in most Americans, at least 4 out of 5, and is one of the key ingredients to regeneration of the muscle tissue of the heart. Then aloe vera gel. This is best consumed from a raw leaf as a produce product from the grocery store. Clinical studies have tested 100 grams or 4 ounces per day as having a 95% effect at eliminating heart disease and resulting heart failure. That's, you heard me correct, 95% on a clinical trial involving 5,000 patients for 5 years. Then vitamin C is recommended in 4 doses to avoid overdosing at a single component. Vitamin C has dramatically been found by clinical studies to increase heart output. Then vitamin B3, the pure form of vitamin B3 is niacin, not niacinamide. It is necessary to activate some of the other enzymes. Vitamin D3 is a supplement in great lack of, that is a great deficiency among Americans in such high numbers that it can be considered the next preventable disease. The recommended amount by the Vitamin D Council is 35 units per pound of body weight. So at 250 pounds, around 9,000 units would be appropriate. It is important to not take too much vitamin D because you can reach a toxic level. This recommendation of 35 units is about 1/3 of the level that starts to become toxic. 50 units per pound of body weight is probably a little bit better, but you need to have a 25-hydroxy vitamin D test to determine what your blood levels are. Selenium is the next item on the list to prevent arrhythmias. It reduces the frequency and the incidence of arrhythmias somewhat dramatically. Then iodine. Most Americans are suffering iodine deficiencies because the sources for iodine have dried up. They're no longer in the diet as they were 50 years ago. Iodine was added to salt, but the salt most people consume is absorbed from packaged foods, fast foods, in which the FDA never required processors in factories to use iodized salt. Then bread, also wheat breads, used to have iodine in the process of milling and producing the bread, and that has been removed as well. Iodine leads to hypo and hyperthyroidism, which is one of the factors causing heart failure. So there is a recommendation to add it to your diet in an amount, and recommended also in a doctor's prescription if possible. There are iodine blood tests to determine where you stand. Bromelain is next on the list. It's available from fresh pineapple, not cooked, just fresh pineapple. It removes the inflammation in the heart. Then garlic, it reduces arrhythmias, and melatonin aids in sleeping well at night, increasing your sleep levels. At the bottom of the chart is omega-3 fish oils and calcium. That should be accumulated only through dietary consumption. You should not be taking tablets or capsules because these have not been found clinically to increase your heart failure recovery dramatically. Now, one final note. If you're taking a statin medication, you will need an extra 200 milligrams of CoQ10 each day because statins destroy CoQ10 and the heart energy enzymes. Therefore, statins are one of the primary causes and effects to heart failure that is plaguing mankind even in this day. Then the final chart is clinical study reports. These are a list of known clinical trials. There's a chart number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And then the supplements are down on the left side of the column. So when you look at magnesium in clinical study number 1, there was a 38% improvement for heart failure patients. Clinical study number 2, 34%. In clinical study number 3, there was a 77% improvement of heart output among heart failure patients. Potassium has lower numbers of 16%, 7%, 24%, and 20%, yet it is required to aid in the function of magnesium and to regulate your blood sodium levels, so therefore it is paired with the magnesium level. CoQ10 on one hand, in study number 1, had a 66% improvement in outcome. Clinical study number 2 was a 78% improvement. Clinical study number 3 was a 53% improvement, and number 4 was a 49% improvement. So you can see CoQ10 means life or death for anyone with heart failure and heart disease. L-carnitine fumarate had a 90% improvement in one study, 27% in the second, 55% in the third. Arginine, one study showed a 70% improvement because it opens up the blood vessels, increases blood flow from the heart. Taurine had a 78% improvement. Number 2, a 61% improvement. And in study 3, a 60% improvement. Lysine was 31% and 48% for specific heart failure study cases. D-ribose is too new for any valid heart study reports. However, it does show an improvement in your energy levels and heart output. And choline, there were no heart-related study reports because it was never considered a factor. Most doctors are completely unaware that there is a choline deficiency nationwide in the United States and the Western world. Aloe vera gel had a 95% improvement, and no subject in the 5,000 study patients died. 100% stayed alive for 5 years, and that's just astounding. There should have been over 200 deaths because all of them had heart disease. Vitamin C is shown in one study to have a 25% improvement in heart output, and vitamin B3 niacin 11% in one study and 90% improvement in one 10-year study. Vitamin D3 improved heart output 30% in one study, 41% in study number 2, 26% in study number 3. Selenium improved in 24%, melatonin 38%. Bromelain has not been studied in relation to heart failure, but it reduces heart attacks and inflammation. Among the studies for omega-3 oils, some show no improvement, One did show a 6.5% improvement, and the other showed a 12% improvement. It's best to get omega-3 oils in bottles as salad oil, and under the fat section of this book you will find a list with their omega-3 quantities. Removing sugar from the diet, that is sugar type foods that increase your glycemic index, showed a 33% improvement for heart failure patients. Normalizing your salt intake to between 2,500 and 3,000 milligrams each day, which is 1/2 teaspoon per day, showed a 40% improvement in recovery and survival for heart failure patients. Getting 8 vegetables and fish each day, 8 servings, showed a 28% improvement in outcomes. And no processed meats, just grass-fed meats, showed a 22% improvement over processed meats like sausages, hot dogs, pepperoni, and the like. Getting plenty of sleep increased survival 43% for heart failure patients, and exercise with low glycemic index foods, cardiac rehab, increased outcomes 33%. So you can see from this chart, the improvement is unbelievably dramatic, absolutely overwhelming, something that doctors cannot ignore. And if you group them all together, you can see how it is possible to recover from heart failure. My name is J. Randall Wilkerson. I'm the author of the Heart Failure Recovery Plan. This book is available from Amazon in print and Kindle editions, from Apple iTunes Store as in iBooks, from eBay in print editions, and direct from the publisher Wilkerson & Hughes, P.O. Box 777, Altoona, Florida, 32702. Just enclose a check for $24 and they will mail one right out. Thank you.